Good morning and welcome to Value First AI Daily. I'm Chris Carolan here with Nico Lafakis. How you doing, man?
Doing very well, sir. Yeah, really great to be back. Great to be back doing another just another show altogether, to be honest with you, but definitely another AI show.
It certainly helps us to keep up with things ourselves and hopefully helps others keep up. We had a lot of good feedback on Q4 of last year. We were going daily with George, and I mean, it was amazing the impact on myself in terms of
Mm,
going from where I was with AI knowledge to where to help me where I get to now. And we were hearing that from a lot of people around us and people we weren't expecting to hear from all the time. So we try to be a little bit different, not just another news broadcast. So we're going to be focusing on um, less on the replacement part and more on the uh, smart people, smart organizations using AI to collaborate and create opportunity and create value in ways that neither could do alone, and certainly in ways that none of us have seen before. So hopefully that comes through. But yeah, we're back to showing up every day to keep up because things are happening every day now.
it's speeding up, man. It's
Yeah.
finally gotten to finally gotten to that point, and that's another reason why we're doing it daily again is because like last year it was pretty amazing that we were able to bring something to the table every day. If not a new tool, definitely like some new like push forward. Um, this time it's hard like not to have at least a handful of things like on a daily basis, really. Um, and it's like I mean, it's been for those of you who don't know, it's been a minute before like since me and Chris actually got together and talked AI. So in both of our opinions, like I think it's only been like a week and a half, but like so much has happened in a week and a half that it just feels like, oh my God, like I don't know that like we have enough time.
It's felt like
Um,
forever, that's for sure. And I
yeah,
think that it speaks to like just the speed of life right now in terms of whether we want it to be true or not. Like AI is kind of forcing this pace, especially if you're in the tech space. Not so much if you're not, but even there, you can see just change at higher rates, and that's our goal is to try and bridge that gap. And I'd love to get into uh, today's topic of, as you're describing it, it's this gap of like people like OpenAI and Claude or Anthropic rather building this whole infrastructure from like scratch, basically, right?
mhm,
Versus the platforms like Google that maybe it took them a minute to really turn the ship in the right direction. Um, but now you're experiencing the value of just all of the things that they've been doing for the last 20 years, which is what we were expecting. At some point, you're
yeah,
like, okay, there's no way Google's gonna miss out. Like they've been preparing for this, and like all this stuff, all the little research groups that they have there, and starting to realize the value there. At the same time, OpenAI talking about the productivity suite and just this natural convergence of what humans need if we're
hmm.
going to be utilizing AI effectively. So, what did you think when you heard, the news about OpenAI and the productivity suite?
Um, I thought honestly, I was quite shocked, only in the sense that like man, that takes a lot of balls to like do that right in front of Satya and be like, yeah, hey, you know the space that you've owned for decades? I'm about to break into it with the hottest tool in the market. So that part of it was shocking to me. The fact that they want to do productivity suite, not shocking at all. these tools connect to everything, right? Like it's absolutely, I don't know what Zapier is going to do, because I don't know what, like, I very honestly don't know what the point of Zapier is. And to your point, like, I was just talking about this yesterday actually with my wife. Um, from what I can tell, if you have utility, you're safe. If all you had was a platform,
Sure.
start hustling, like do something, right? Start finding some unique niche of like what you can do with that platform. And so what I mean is that like Google was safe because of the fact that everything they have, they're just embedded, right? It's Chrome, it's Gmail, it's Drive, like everybody's using some aspect of it. So like OpenAI was never going to get into like that space, right? Maybe through like plugins and through apps, but it's never going to be as good as something that's like natively in your system where you can just click the button and boom, go. And what I'm noticing is that people who own those various spaces like Notion or ClickUp, um, we just made the switch from just no, not from JustWorks, from Teamwork to ClickUp. Uh, it is it's absolutely night and day difference. Teamwork barely has, like, they just got AI features in there, and it's pretty much just, hey, I can summarize stuff for you. ClickUp's got agents. It's got agents that you can run on the daily, so that like, oh, every morning I show up and boom, here's my stand up, here's my daily plan, here's what I've got to do, here's all my notes for my meetings, right? Like that's a good wrapper right there, right? Like that's a good utility platform that has like used AI in a very smart way, right? And that's kind of how I see what OpenAI is going to do. It's like they've already established like, hey, this is the source for you to build your models, your custom GPTs, build your projects, have your conversations. It's the thing is, it's got all your history, right? So to me, it just makes sense that what OpenAI is going to do is continue to build the bedrock utility and like AI based utility and leave the software for everybody else to do. Right. So I think they're always going to be doing the underlying utility of things. But I just don't see them getting into, whatever, some third party software that you're going to buy that, is also based on GB. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
not a soft thing. Let's put it
That's
that way.
why the productivity suite stuff is interesting because that is the part they haven't really solved for yet in terms of team collaborative. Like when I hear productivity suite, I'm hearing like, the Google and Microsoft suite. Um, and that's where like that part hasn't been solved yet in terms of being able to share stuff and work on stuff together. And like it looks like you're so close to being able to do that, but then you got to start a new chat if you're gonna, which makes sense the way that the systems are built. It would be I mean, part of their challenge is how do you have these different contexts coming together in a meaningful way that doesn't just, throw off the framing of the whole kind of pillar that's being worked on. And that's where Google, you know, even the difference between like Google and Microsoft, like Google started from a place of like cloud collaboration.
Mhm.
Like and they've actually like never have gone away from like it's either they started there, that's where they are, right? Versus Microsoft, who I don't really remember anything really holding a candle alternatively to like Word docs and Excel sheets, right? Until Google Sheets
Right.
happened. And when it came out, it was immediately, collaborative in the way that you could just, access it through the browser and share with others, see each other in the system. And that, of course, pushed Microsoft in the collaborative direction. But since Microsoft started where they did, of course they're behind and the Copilot doesn't work as well. And now that Google, is starting to play, like everything they've built, almost everything is prepared them for this moment. Like when you think about how web crawlers work and how they build their algorithms,
Hmm.
like of course it was only a matter of time before coding starts to happen. And it's really damn good because they have basically the whole context of human digital existence. Like, and that's the part you need to be really good at this stuff, right? So kudos to like OpenAI and Anthropic of building this stuff from the ground up.
Hmm.
But this is what we mean when we say the competitive landscape. Like it's just Google has such a head start on everybody, and it's good to see them in the past few months. Like, or it's good to feel the value of that, like, and know for sure, like, okay, they are. But that's where we get into the old infrastructure of like their whole system was built on ads revenue, and
Right.
they knew whatever they came out with was just gonna start to crush that, right?
Yeah.
But of course, and this is where smart people leading smart organizations, they found a way. And now, like, they're just the positioning of all this stuff. And you can, if you're curious about the tools that you use, um, it's been very hard for me not to, come back to the word vibe, uh, just because it's like vibe for me, you know, means like you have to feel it. You just got to feel it. It's not necessarily measurable. There's no structure, there's no, like, defined plan. You're just, like, kind of feeling your way forward, and our industrial structure is very much the opposite of that, right? Where we gotta
Mhm.
have deadlines, we gotta work within 90-day windows, we gotta see a result immediately, and, um, that's just not how the system's going to, work anymore. Like, if you try to
Right.
control that part, like, it's just not
Yeah.
gonna work out for you.
Yeah. I mean, the probably the number one thing that I've heard in the last couple of weeks has been, at least when it comes to like business and tracking AI productivity, has just been like, well, we're still not seeing like bottom line like effect or whatever. Like we're still not seeing the bottom line or whatever. And it's like, all right, well, I don't know. Like if that's the case, I'm not sure if you're looking at like maybe it was that you just deployed in the last month and you're barely like maybe you're seeing the needle move like a little bit or something. There's also something to be said about like the deployment, right? And how well that's going as opposed to, yeah, we just threw tools out there and nothing's happening. We can't like what's going on. Um, so to that effect, OpenAI has also decided at a fairly ridiculous price, but nevertheless, and basically it's enterprise level only. They are now offering their own team to internally tune models for businesses. So now it's a case
Implementation
where,
services.
yeah, like I don't know how many people have like paid attention to what we've done in the past. Um, One of the things that me and Chris put together is an oracle, and this thing is like it's super wicked, seriously wicked. It is exactly what it sounds like. You can ask it about future events, and it'll probably scare you in terms of like how accurate it sounds. Um, I tested the accuracy. Let's just put it this way: I tested the accuracy, and had to make a different move because it was too accurate. So, which I know is crazy
And
vague,
that's
but
and that's like, let's hit on that for a second, like, too accurate because of the space that we work in, and like, and one of the values of doing all this content I've seen is it's and the way my mind works is I can see all the dots, and then all of a sudden it's not that hard, like, to put
Right.
the dots together,
Right.
right? And say, okay, we shouldn't be surprised at how quickly these companies are moving, how fast Breeze is getting better, like, the choices that HubSpot is making
Hmm.
when they say AI first and mean it,
Right.
right? There was a hug yesterday. I can't share all the details, but Operations Hub, like, it is clear that their number one mission is to create a complete picture of business data, like, in one place. Why? Because you need that to leverage AI,
Yep.
for your business. It doesn't matter how many hubs you have, all the cool things you can do. If that data context layer is garbage, which in 98% of portals, like, it
Ditto.
is,
Yeah.
right? Uh, but everything they're doing right now is trying to solve for that, right? With this, a complete product layer of the organization, like, just
Hmm.
working towards that, not just like one or two people putting on a new hat to say, let's figure this out. It is lots of people, working on this. And this idea of, bringing together context, in support of this, you can clearly see, like, which companies are focused on that and
Hmm.
which are not, right? And, you know, it's not that hard to put the pieces in play. Like, the beauty of AI is, like, when you prompt it and have a conversation with it, and you're like, this is where the human, nuance and taste and, like, all the different ways we're coming up with to describe human value in this process,
Hmm.
right? Is the ability to say this, but not that. Like, except tomorrow when it makes sense to say, you know, like, this, but not that. Right?
Right.
The circumstances change, daily right now. And that context and that nuance is of utmost importance. So we need uh, the systems around us that are prepared to handle that, right? And it's
Mhm.
the opposite of the hyper focused, fit for purpose SaaS tools, which now total almost 17,000, like, just from the MarTech map,
Right.
right? 17,000 tools, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, and now we're looking at platforms like Google and where OpenAI is going. And it's like, what are you doing with all these different tools? Like,
Well, I mean, I can tell you that you're probably going to, I don't know if you'll see more. I think we will. I think we will see more tools because I think what you're looking at. So, here's something to take into account. 17,000 tools. There's obviously like way more types of businesses than that, right? Like even drilling into one sector, like going into mining. I'm sure that there's at least a couple hundred different types of mining companies or mining operations or whatever. Um, so I think what you're going to end up with is an ecosystem of 100,000 or so tools, but it's going to be like 20 for, diesel auto trucking mechanics in northwestern the United States or something. Or whatever. It's going to be like, 10 apps specific to CRMs for people who run, baby doll companies out of their home that have like porcelain doll heads. I don't know, right? But it's going to be like super, super niche to like now. What happens now is you walk into the software store and you say, I need to buy a CRM. And it's like gigantic fucking boxes in front of you. it looks like you're shopping. It's like you're picking out a Sam's Club. Like, which Sam's Club do you want to shop at, right? And it's like, Jesus Christ, like I need a corner store. I don't need a Sam's Club. Like, what the hell? And you look at the Sam's Club and it's like, oh no, we have a small, we got a small membership too. It's like, okay, but what do I get with a small membership? Everything just inside the door. Are you kidding me? Yeah, just that. Oh, and the stuff at checkout. Those are the only two sections you can go to. Don't touch any of the rest of the store. Okay, but a lot of those things are like, a couple of those things are things that I need. Okay, but money's right. So what ends up happening is a lot of those big fish are I don't know I don't know exactly what happens. Like the term that I had, or like the phrase I had before, was like, oh, they're just big whales are going to kind of get bit at by the piranha. Um, and that is kind of what's going to happen, right? Like niche businesses are going to pull away from major large scale CRM companies, and large scale CRM companies are pretty much going to facilitate, large and enterprise businesses, because that's what they're built to do anyway, right? Like at the end of the day, like they are meant to facilitate, large and at least like major revenue scale businesses. Let's put it that way, right? Um, if you have a smaller revenue stream and you're a very particular type of business, I mean, I don't know how many clients I've run into that like they have a very particular type of business. We have to change the entire CRM and warp it into what looks like their business. And of course that becomes a challenge, right? So yeah, I very much see a future where we're going to have this massive, I mean, it's going to look like the mobile app market, right? And what's crazy about the mobile app market, and this is something that's true even on like Spotify, it's really easy to see this metric. When you want to think that like, oh, there's millions, tens of millions of apps, they can't all possibly like have, any sort of use. Go look, go pick the most random 2-star app that you can find. It'll probably have at least 500-600 people that have touched it, right? I don't know if they actively play it. Don't know. Might only have like 20 active players a month or something like that, but it will have some activity to it, right? So it's going to be like that. You're going to own a piece of the market. So as much as I'm sure you don't want to see more SaaS
Well,
bloat,
I think it will definitely go up before it comes down. Uh, and I think it's the point, and this is like what we'll wrap on. Like, I love to refer to MCP as my customized, um, platform,
I like that.
because we like it's all in our ability to say, I want that app. I have access to this LLM where I can build it out for myself, and I don't need to sell it to anybody else. So I don't need to go through the effort of platforming it,
Mhm.
right, into the app market, right, that I would have to do. And that's removal of that friction. We're going to see more apps being built, but most of them won't be in the public use. So that, machine shop or that automotive shop, like, can just they're not going to have to go outside those four walls to
Right.
build what they need to build for their situation,
Right.
right? And that's where the SaaS trap has always been. I can build a tool that will solve that problem. And it just has not proven out. Unless somebody knows how to use the tool after you build it, the
Right.
problem will not be solved. No matter how push button, plug and play it is, that person on the other side has to be able to engage with it and create value without your help, right? And that's what we're seeing since AI can do that part now, right? This idea that everybody can build their own stacks is very real, and we're already seeing it,
Yeah.
right? And the main issue I hope to tackle over the next, few months is, you know, prompt engineering is an example of trying to apply the SAS trap to solve the problem. It doesn't matter how good your starting prompt is if you don't know what to do with the answer that it gives you, right? Which is almost all these copilot contexts, all these assistant contexts. If you don't know how to have a conversation with AI, first of all, you're in the majority, right? And it's no one's fault. Like, you've never had to do that before. There's no school for learning how to talk to AI.
Right.
I mean, once you get into it, you realize it's very close to how you need to talk to human beings to have like successful conversations,
Yeah.
right? But that hurdle of just like getting somebody who's very personable and can be a social butterfly, and then you put AI in front of them and they don't know what to do, right? Like, if we can't play with that response and understand how to take that next step, it doesn't matter how good the first button is that we push, right? Which includes the prompt engineering. And that's why it makes sense to me that we're seeing a shift towards context engineering. Because if you don't have context and you don't know what context went into, the response to your prompt, it's it's not going to be valuable. And enough people are going to get wrong answers to be like, all right, this is not working. I got to figure out how to do a better first prompt.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No, it's
Right.
like, I don't know how many times that I've come across people that say like, "Oh, I tried it, but it gave me a bad answer," or like, "Oh, I tried it, but it wasn't that good," or like, "Oh, but the result I got was not that great," or whatever the excuse is. I consider them all to be excuses. I don't like. I'm sorry, but it's this. To me, it's very difficult for anyone to like come to me and say like, yeah, I tried doing that but it doesn't work, or like, it's not really that great. Okay, but you're telling a person that does it all day every day. That's all I do all day is work with AI, right? Like that's like literally my job. So it's weird if you're going to say like, I don't basically, there's been so many people that say that stuff and then I turn around and do the same thing that they did. And then I post a screenshot of the successful aspect of it, right? And the only thing I ever wonder is like, it's the same question every time. Like, how did you ask it? Like, show me how you or like, give me the prompt or whatever it might be. And it's not a matter of like bad prompting or something like that, but inevitably they come back with this super short like sentence. And it's like, yeah, I see what the problem is. You already had the issue in your head and you were already like mid working it. And so you just kind of typed in the halfway point and didn't give it the context of where you were coming from before you got there. And it's a brand new conversation. So it's like talking to a new person. So you basically told a brand new person who barely knows you, doesn't know anything about what you're trying to do, half a sentence about what it is that you want, and you expected the perfect answer. Blows my mind every single time because
Yes.
I don't know why you think that would happen. I don't. Like, I try
It's
to tell people that like a new conversation is like a new intern, right? And unless you've really, even if you fine tune your personal stuff in GPT, that's just you. That's not the like context of what it is you're working on, right? So
Yes. And it's a great comment from Chad that we'll
yes,
end on today. It is a conversation. And if you want so much, I want to say, we got to wrap. If you want to get better at having that conversation, like, this is your show. We are very focused on not seeing AI as the do it all for us. It is the how do we collaborate with AI effectively to do more, uh, like, realize more opportunity, execute on more, create more value, for the world and the people around us. So we'll be back with another episode tomorrow.
yep,
Good to be back with you, Nico.
I know, I
We'll
love
see
it.
you then.
See ya.